Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy this while you can. We have 4 months left to enjoy the greatness that is John Cena.
This is a man built for one thing.
And now Lesnar into the ring. And Brock Lesnar with John Cena on his shoulders. Brock Lesnar with an F5 to John Cena.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to McGuire on Wrestling.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
With Mike McGuire.
Stand up, son. Let me take a good look at you.
This guy's a serious professional.
You know what I want to talk about? Yeah. Well, the professional wrestling.
Do I have your attention now?
Done chilling. I'm done chilling, okay?
Let's get this show on the road.
I love professional wrestling.
Hi there, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. Special Monday edition. Normally, this show drops on Sundays in podcast form at CelebrateWrestling.com and wherever you look up Celebrate Wrestling, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. This week, though, going on the Monday for both on the radio and online, thanks to the radio stations who are cooperating with getting the show a little later. And most importantly, thanks to you for downloading a very eventful 2 days in WWE. SummerSlam, first time they did a two-nighter. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. It was told to me years and years and years ago. It's been reiterated through my wrestling time, both in the business, both around commentators, around wrestlers, and even from icons themselves. And I want you to listen to these words and listen to them closely. It's all about the finish. It's all about how it ends. You can have garbage for a majority of your show. I'm not saying it's a good thing, and I'm not saying that's what happened this weekend either, but it's all about the finish. And I think both nights on a big stage, like it or not, WWE had strong finishes for nights 1 and night 2 of SummerSlam. Okay, am I saying everything on the card was perfect and exciting and captivating and great? Absolutely not. And I've heard that from a lot of you. At the same time, I don't think it was as bad as what some people are saying either. I just, sometimes I wonder if those that are finding ways to be unhappy with things in wrestling, I wonder if you really enjoy wrestling and what it is you're looking for. And I'm not saying that to come down on a viewer either. What I mean by that is it worth taking a break from once in a while? We've all gone through wrestling burnout as fans, and now it's easier than ever to go through wrestling burnout because there's just so much wrestling. So WWE does what WWE is going to do, and they did it in a big way. They made a butt ton of money again. They had a butt ton of people in the stands. And there were some big moments in these shows. Big moments in these shows. Were there some things that could have gone better? Absolutely. Maybe shouldn't have got the zip ties at Dollarama. Just saying. I'm kidding. Actually, those Dollarama zip ties are pretty good. Pretty affordable. You know what? We're not even going to get into zip ties here because there's so much more that happened. So much more that happened. Okay, let's get down to it. Night 1 of SummerSlam. Okay? We had some great matches. We had a lot of titles retained. We had some surprising losses. Some people not happy about Karrion Kross not getting the big win. Hey, he was on the card. This is a guy that was on main event regularly for the last 8 months until the last 2. You know what I'm saying? He's on SummerSlam in front of 50,000 plus. That ain't a bad day. Okay, you shift over to Jade Cargill. This one did puzzle me a little. It did puzzle me a little. Now, I, unlike some of my cohorts, have never been that hard on Jade Cargill. I think that, you know what, she was put into a position where it's like you got to sink or swim, and she did the best she could with what she's had, and she continues to. I was expecting her to be leaving with a championship, which makes me wonder, okay, what do we got coming up for Survivor Series then? What's happening in Clash in Paris or anywhere else here? Because something needs to be done here. The Tiffy time thing, you can just tell it's not where it needs to be. And that's not a fault of Tiffany Stratton. That's not a fault of anybody. It's just things are clicking, things are not. Talk about the biggest thing that wasn't clicking was heel John Cena. And if you needed proof of that, you saw it on Sunday night. John Cena's music starts hitting. People are kind of cheering. We see everything go to black. There's the plain white John Cena text again. Oh, no. Wait a minute. They didn't update the thing. Wait a minute. He said he was going to come back. He said he was going to come back full form. Sure enough, in the words of Mitch Honsius, who did a great solo show this weekend, by the way, on the alternate commentary table, if I may, Mitchell. We got the lights. We got the color. We got John Cena playing to the crowd. Says to cameraman Stu, you got a run in ya? You ready to run? Runs to that ring and has arguably one of, if not the best match of his career against Cody Rhodes. As defending WWE champion, he ends up giving the title to Cody Rhodes. Amazing. I mean, a little spotty, yeah. A code red from John Cena. Somebody said that on the Facebook page too. Didn't see that coming. Nobody saw that coming. John Cena didn't see that going as well as it did. It was something to see. And then, of course, you get to the big moment afterwards where Brock Lesnar, after 2 years, almost to the day, makes his return to WWE. Literally an afterthought. Word had gone out. He was telling people he's done. He's retired. Comes back as big as two houses. Brock is already as big as a house. He comes back big as two houses. Okay, he's back as a barn now. And Brock Lesnar does what Brock Lesnar does. Now, there's a ton of conversation around Brock Lesnar being back on your television. And we'll get into that. Dave Meltzer is a little pressed for time today, but he's going to be on the show today, and we're going to ask him, first off, right about that. Going to try and answer your questions as well, try and quell some of the suspicion and doubt. And don't get me wrong, there's always things and people in wrestling that sometimes make us question our own fandom. I'm not saying you're wrong for feeling that way, but I'm saying if you look down the black and white facts of things, it is what it is, and it is where we are now. I hate that phrase, it is what it is, but in this case, it is what it is. It really is. He's back. He's doing a program with Cena, and we'll talk about that. Also coming up, we're going to get your feedback on the show. Another edition of Yay Boo, all about WWE SummerSlam. First ever two-night event. Did it live up to the hype? Did it leave you disappointed? We'll get some of your feedback there from the Celebrate Wrestling Facebook page. And if you'd like to support the show, you can do so. T-shirts are available. Stickers are available. CelebrateWrestling.com. I know I promised you new T-shirts dropping. That is happening very shortly. We've had to fix some stuff up here with our supplier, but I think we got it all figured out now, and if that's the case, then we're going to get these next wave of shirts coming out right away. I think you're really going to dig them, too. I think you're really going to dig them. But first, let's talk about some of the other things going on in pro wrestling. This is the 5 Count.
You want to hear the breaking news?
Well, you might hear a little extra pep in my step here. Obviously, we're going to talk about WWE SummerSlam, but I got the word, like a lot of fans did, that Dungeon Wrestling out of Calgary, Alberta, run by the Hart family, returns to the Victoria Pavilion October 17th. That's about 2 months away from now. WrestleWeen 3. No matches have been announced yet, but of course, the former Jinder Mahal, Raj Desi, the Stu Hart Heritage Heavyweight Champion. A lot of interesting challenges have come way of that championship over the last year, so we'll see what happens there. Anyway, tickets are on sale now. You can find out all the details on Dungeon Wrestling's social media, but I know that myself, Mitch, Dimitri, we're all excited for the return of Dungeon Wrestling in the most sacred of wrestling halls, I'll say, in Canada, and that's saying something. No disrespect to the Maple Leaf Gardens of the world, no disrespect to any other place you may have seen wrestling, but there's something special about the Victoria Pavilion, and you only know if you've been there. So we'll hopefully see you there coming up on October 17th. Some late breaking news on Monday afternoon as TMZ has announced that they are presenting a special on Fox on Tuesday called The Real Hulk Hogan. Now, this is going to focus on interviews, likely past interviews from people like Bill Goldberg, Sylvester Stallone, Vince McMahon, Mick Foley, Jimmy Hart, and additional interviews from Alexa Bliss, Jacob Fatu, and Charlotte Flair. Now, incorrectly reported on some websites and posts was Mark Henry's involvement in this. Mark Henry has been a vocal critic of Hogan. He is not actually advertised to be a part of this special in any way, but it is set to air Tuesday, August 12th on Fox in the US. Well, if a two-night WrestleMania and two-night SummerSlam aren't enough for you, there is talk coming out today that WWE may be considering more two-night PLEs moving forward. A few reports have been surfacing saying they're looking at things like Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, even Money in the Bank could become two-night events. So we'll see what the future holds. But going back to those famous words, more is more continues to be the WWE way because, hey, who needs long weekends? A big announcement for AAA, who is now in partnership with WWE, came out over the SummerSlam weekend, and that is that this year's AAA Triple Mania, including the Mega Championship Fatal 4-Way match, is going to be broadcasting live on Saturday, August 16th on YouTube in both Spanish and English commentary. So this will be exciting for fans who have been wanting to check out more AAA action. Dominic Mysterio, as well as El Grande Americano, allegedly portrayed by Ludwig Kaiser, wink, are involved in the championship match for the AAA Mega Championship, which is currently held by El Hijo del Vikingo. Well, if you've been watching the WWE Unreal series, you're undoubtedly getting some interesting insight as to how things happen. Well, whether or not it's all 100% legit doesn't seem to matter. As fans have been watching it in droves, it turns out to be one of the most successful WWE productions on Netflix right now, on top of course, Raw, SmackDown, and the PLEs. A look behind the curtain from a different perspective, that of WWE star Karrion Kross hits bookstore shelves tomorrow, or bookstore websites, probably more appropriately. Nevertheless, Karrion Kross's book, Life is Fighting, has been in production for some time now, and the official release comes tomorrow. It's a life story, but also a story about his journey leading up to his WWE signing. So if you're a fan of that and want to find out more details, maybe on that and the time he was released, the time he came back, his marriage to Scarlett, and more, that book is available through ECW Press. Well, we got a lot to talk about and a lot of your feedback on the way. We're going to do some yay booing. And next, Dave Meltzer in a bit of a jam session here because, frankly, he's got some things to write today, is on the way. Thank you so much for being here. We're back in just a flash.
This is McGuire on Wrestling.
Legends and Champions is your weekly fix to go old school, looking at the classic world of professional wrestling. From Hulk Hogan to the Hitman Bret Hart to the Icon Sting to the total package Lex Luger. We have it all each and every week on Legends and Champions, part of the Celebrate Wrestling Network. And it's available on a Wednesday with me, Andy Evans. See you there.
It's time for the Wrestling Observer Insider with Dave Meltzer, McGuire on Wrestling.
Well, Dave, it's going to be hard to find something to talk about coming out of SummerSlam. Not much newsworthy happened. Okay. Oh, man. We got to start with Brock, right? I heard you and Brian talk about it a little bit, saying that apparently WWE Legal has cleared him to be there.
Yeah, they cleared him a month ago.
Okay, and this is interesting because I'm getting a lot of feedback from fans that are either questioning it for how did this happen reasons, or they're questioning it for how could they reasons. Do you know what I mean? Like some people are really miffed about the moral implication.
I don't think anyone understood. I mean, and I have said it for like a year and a half straight. It's like legal wouldn't clear him. That's why he wasn't there. When they cleared him, they're going to bring him back. It was always going to be like that. That's how it works there. And it was because of the lawsuit, and it was ongoing. And whatever the reason was that legal changed their viewpoint, I couldn't tell you. It probably has to do with their belief, their view of where the lawsuit is going. That's the only thing I can think of, but I haven't been told that.
So to catch people up to speed, because this has been a multiple year thing now. 2023 is the last time we saw Brock.
Right. He was going to come back in early 2024 for the WrestleMania season. He was going to wrestle Dominic Mysterio. He was going to wrestle Gunther at WrestleMania.
Right.
He was, and right before the Royal Rumble, the lawsuit came out, and this
is the Janelle Grant lawsuit again for people that need to be caught up to speed.
Right. And it's basically the allegation was that Vince McMahon used Janelle Grant to, satisfy, I mean, there's no allegation she ever had sex with Brock, but there is an allegation that she was supposed to, and there were meetings scheduled that didn't happen. And she did send him illicit content on orders of Vince McMahon with the idea, allegedly, that she was there to facilitate Vince signing Brock to a new contract. So that's what was all in the lawsuit. And so they took Brock off. They said, this is, whatever. They took him off. And then, a month ago, they decided to allow him back. And so he came back. There's people who are just like shocked because of the moral implications. And they shouldn't be shocked. This is just the nature of the beast. Should they be upset? Yeah. If you think that it's wrong, it's wrong. It's a very touchy situation, but the reality is this company was never going to keep him out for anything but legal reasons. I mean, this company uses Conor McGregor, who just, lost a lawsuit and an appeal about a sexual assault case, and they're using Cedric Dumas, who is involved in something with an ex-girlfriend that was really bad, and he's waiting trial on that. They used Dana, they didn't even slap Dana on the wrist.
So yeah, ironically, the word slap being involved in that, but yeah, like, this is TKO now we're talking about. This is the TKO psychology. So I guess
they're going to use anyone, and WWE, that they're part of TKO. So that's just how it is. They use John Jones, right? So it's like, they're not going to be the moral judges on anything. They're, as soon as he was cleared, they're going to use him if he wanted to come back, and, he was ready to come back, and here we are. People are upset about it, and understandably so. I've got a lot of letters from women and really upset about it. And it opened, it opened my eyes because I was, I understood, but it emphasized it, and I get it, I get it. It's just like, I'm not surprised. The only thing that will change would be, if sponsors crack down, and they didn't with UFC. They didn't. No one, all the stuff that came out on Conor McGregor, and there's more than one allegation on Conor McGregor, and nobody pushed for UFC to cut ties with the guy.
Right.
And the thing with these companies, with UFC, in the old days, you would go in there and go, well, they draw so much money, so therefore you're just going to have to bend. And that's how it used to be. Now all the money's guaranteed. The UFC money's guaranteed. The WWE money's guaranteed. So it's the financial pressure, if that's the word, for using them is gone. It really is. Will they help? Would Brock help in ratings? Probably a little bit, but it's not anything that's going to make a difference. So it's not even financial pressure. It's just, this is what they do.
Well, who was it? Was it Snickers or Slim Jim? Somebody pulled out, and that's what caused the whole
Slim Jim caused Vince to resign.
Yes.
Because they were afraid that and I thought Vince had to resign, but the reality is that if there was no pressure, I'm not sure that they would have forced him out, as crazy as that is. And I think Snickers may have been the one of them, caused them to drop the Moolah Battle Royal name when they were going to do.
Right. That's what it was.
Yeah. So which among all of the things that you could, that a sponsor might pull out of a wrestling company for, the Moolah Battle Royal name is like number 956 on the list, but it just happened. So that's why I say, like, if someone goes, could sponsors, do something, it's like, yeah, if there's enough people who complain, it's possible. I don't expect it, but it's possible.
No, we're definitely seeing a different culture, it seems, as far as sponsorship relationships go, and a lot of things moving forward. I mean, TKO is they're a marketing company. Let's face it, it's a sports marketing company, and they're going to make money selling every inch of canvas, every presents they can. And that's, if you look, and I'm not absolving the company of any perhaps moral question either. I want to make that clear. But if this makes you mad enough to stop watching WWE, then
stop watching.
Yeah, that's your
watching.
Thing.
Then stop watching.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I can't fault a business for wanting to make money. I might not. I mean, I've never liked everything that's happened in pro wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, I can fault them because they don't need to do it. But the reality is that I didn't expect anything different. I mean, I don't have these high moral standards for pro wrestling companies. So look, I knew it. It's like, as soon as he's cleared, he's going to be back. So he's cleared, and it was all legal, and they have their reasons that no one's talked about, and trying to credit it to John Cena is a real wimpy way to do it, because it's,
And for those who don't know, Triple H, I guess, in a post show said that John had Brock on his wish list of people to wrestle on his way out.
Big deal. You know what I mean? It's like, that's totally irrelevant, because the reality is that if he was cleared and John didn't have him on the wish list, he'd still be back. And if legal didn't clear him, John could have him on his wish list. He ain't going to be back. It's just that's what happened. It's legal, and that they made the call, and I don't know that we'll ever get the actual reason why. What changed them? I don't know the answer to that one, but it did.
So the answer to the question then of Brock being back is obviously been answered now. The question I have is this the last program for Cena? Because Michael Cole in the commentary implied this could be the next 4 months for John Cena's return, or his finale, I should say. But I don't know. Could this be like a one-off for Paris or one of the other shows that got coming up?
I could see it for Survivor Series.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that. I mean, it could be for Paris, but I'm thinking Survivor Series. They got that stadium and everything, so they probably want a big attraction for the stadium. And I don't know that it would be. I mean, it's hard. I suppose they could do it on Saturday Night's Main Event, but they usually save Lesnar for pay-per-views. He does very few, television matches. So I'm guessing it's 1 or 2 pay-per-views, and Cena probably gets a win in Boston on the way out. Man, maybe it could be Lesnar if Lesnar beats him the first time. It's possible too.
Because that's the other thing people are asking, and I even brought this up. I was invited onto a betting show, actually, of all things, to talk about SummerSlam, and people are asking me, well, where do you see Cena going from here? And I said, well, I see him having an exit program and doing the right thing and going out looking at the lights. And people are saying, well, Brock Lesnar isn't the guy that needs the rub. I don't think Brock Lesnar is the last guy. Do you?
I think that it's enough months. I think there'll be somebody after Brock, but Brock Lesnar doesn't need the rub. It would be more beneficial long term to the company to have somebody under 40 do a program with Cena, on the way out. But that's the decision. That's the decision.
Well, it is a greatest hits run for John Cena here. I want to get your thoughts on the match between him and Cody. I remember I heard you and Dave say that this, or you and Brian say this is his best match in about a decade. I'd have to agree. I didn't see a code red in Cena's playbook. Did you?
No, boy, he was happy that one went well. The yeah. I mean, I thought it was a fantastic match. Totally overachieved. Really great match. I thought both guys were tremendous. It was one of Cody's best matches too, and really one of Cena's best matches of his whole career, and best in well over a decade. So super match. Yeah.
Well, you could see Cena at the end mouthing, saying, I gave you the best I had. That's all I got. I can't do any better. And I think there's a lot of people who are pretty picky that would agree with that. For the 2-day SummerSlam overall, they sold a ton of tickets. They made a boatload of money as per usual. There was a tweet recently now saying that they might be considering other 2-day events.
Maybe Rumble. I don't know. We'll see. They're trying to put out a lot of product, to what's the word? To
Rake it in.
They want to put out as much product as they can to stifle any competition that they can. And the more product, especially since they're the primary brand, that takes time away from any other brands. So yeah, I could see that. And if you can make money on 2-day shows, then I think that they've proven that you get more people on the card, but I don't know. The fatigue to me, 2-day show, it had to be. WrestleMania had to be. You could make the argument for Rumble because you can put the women on one night and the men on the other night, and Rumble's a long show. But I don't know about doing it for other shows. I get, it worked. It worked here, and it was better than. It was a lot better two nights than one night as far as overall. I have to say that. So, because they would have to cram too much and short matches and things like that. And SummerSlam's a big enough deal. And, New York market, but they were over 50,000 both nights.
It's a long weekend here in Canada, which is the only reason I'm awake and alert enough to be doing this on Monday today. But Dave, when it comes down to it, WWE is still doing what WWE is going to do. Another interesting development came out this past week, and we found out that with their involvement with AAA, is that deal done yet, first of all?
It was supposed to, there was no announcement made, but I was told that it was going to be done on Thursday night.
Okay.
So,
but yeah, coming Thursday.
Yeah, no announcement. This is the last Thursday night. Yeah.
Okay.
So no announcement was made though, but we're all under the assumption it went down on Thursday night. I haven't heard different. I reported it already that, on Thursday, I think, or whatever day it was that it was going down on, maybe on Wednesday, that it was going down Thursday night at midnight. And so I presume that's what happened.
Well, the announcement was made, though, that the next Triple Mania going to be streaming for free on YouTube around the world.
Yeah.
This is, again, a big shot in the arm for AAA here. This is going to be a massive opportunity. Do you think we see a more WWE-ized product, or is it still kind of like what we got last time?
Yes. It'll be like last time. It'll be
okay.
Like yeah. Which was, the in-ring will be a mix of WWE and Lucha Libre. I think that a lot of the AAA stuff, the blood and the weapons and that type of stuff. I think that will be greatly toned down. Yeah.
All right. And last thing we'll touch on here on WWE quickly with Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer. Dave, obviously business is moving forward. The SummerSlam success is another key to showing that WWE clearly knows how to do what they're doing to make the content happen here. I suppose the only question remains is, how do you see the rest of this year closing out for them business-wise here? Are they going to keep trying for bigger and better, or do you think they've reached a peak yet?
Oh, they're always going to be raising prices until attendance goes down. So yeah, they'll always be going for bigger and better. As long as the buildings are, the stadiums wasn't full, but it's 50,000, so it's a big success. If it was 25,000, then they might have to scale back, but it wasn't. So, it wasn't going to be 25 anyway. It wasn't going to be less than 45. So, I think we knew that going in. So, the whole, there's no, there's a show here and there that doesn't do a sellout or close to, but there's always a very legitimate reason why. Sometimes there's a UFC show the next day. They like to bunch them. So that has been tough. Like if you do a SmackDown on Friday and UFC on Saturday, the SmackDown doesn't draw as well, but there's a reason for that. But there's been no crowds that I would say for WWE that I would call unexpected, disappointing, any sign whatsoever that this boom is over. People really, I know some people are waiting for it. It isn't there. When it's there, we'll know, but it isn't there. They're doing great. Numbers, on Netflix, of course, they're way lower than anyone expected, but that's because it was uncharted water and we didn't know what to expect. But the popularity of the brand is fantastic right now.
Again, I think that other people are just finding. I work with a guy who never watches a weekly TV ever, but knows everything going on because he just watches clips online. Like I think that's part of the new consumption pattern for these shows as well. And I think that any content creators have just kind of lived with that over the last couple of years here because that's the way it's going. So I again, like you say, I don't think I would worry about viewership numbers as much as I would about just popularity in general. And as long as people keep showing up in one way or another.
Yeah. I think that as long as you look at the attendance, you'll have a pretty good idea when things are going down and there's no sign of it.
Exactly. Dave, I know you're pressed for time today because you have a lot to talk about, obviously, and more stories keep rolling in about Brock Lesnar alone. Janelle Grant's attorney just released a statement a few minutes ago, actually, saying that, you know what, they're still flaunting their flag of, this just goes to show that they don't have any moral compass, blah, 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 and that they're going to continue to go after Vince McMahon in court. They did name Lesnar, but they didn't really name Lesnar. Do you know what I mean? Like they're saying, oh, it's just shown by the involvement of Brock Lesnar, but they still make their target Vince McMahon here. I think that's probably the most important thing. For anybody that has questions about this at the end of it all, Brock Lesnar isn't the one being sued. Brock Lesnar isn't the guy who's being put to task for any of this stuff. He is being named as being a recipient in this whole sordid thing, but it is important to remember, whether you agree with it or not, he's not actually legally on the hook for anything here, is he?
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, it's a Vince McMahon lawsuit. There's no legal charges. I don't expect any legal charges. The feds investigated this and dropped it, for whatever reason. I mean, the obvious reason is that why waste, it's a sad thing to say, but it's like, and the investigation was on Vince, not on Brock. But The thing is, it's like, why waste millions and millions of dollars to investigate Vince when the best you're going to get is something and then a pardon, right? So it's just a waste of time. So I understand why the investigation was dropped. I mean, and maybe it was dropped because they didn't feel they had evidence. But even if they did, I think the politics of the situation were that it was going to have to be anyway. As soon as Trump got elected, Linda's in his cabinet. It's like, of course he's going to get pardoned.
All right, he is Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer, WrestlingObserver.com. Dave, next week we will touch base on much more things in depth here. Obviously, talk about AEW and some other goings on. GCW had Natty come out for another. I mean, I don't know if you've seen any of this Natty and GCW stuff, but I am loving it so much.
Yeah. It's really fun. Really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
But Dave, as always, appreciate your time. Thanks for making time for us on what is no doubt a busy Monday here. Last thing. Do you think we see Brock or Cena on Raw tonight, or are we saving it all for SmackDown?
I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what the plan is. So yeah,
Cena is listed according to some sources as being on SmackDown next. So I guess that could be it. But
so then that'd make more sense.
Yeah. All right. There you have it. Dave Meltzer from Wrestling Observer. WrestlingObserver.com. Appreciate you, sir.
Okay.
Well, there you go. A little truncated version of our usual conversation with Dave Meltzer. I don't mind that, though, because frankly, there's a lot of question marks around a lot of everything right now, and I do appreciate your feedback. Now, I'm not going to outright defend the decision to bring Brock Lesnar back in, but I'm not going to argue it either because it's their company. They're going to do what they want, and then it comes down to really personal choice, because let's face it, there's a lot of people we've talked about before. Dan Lavransky said it perfectly when we were talking about Hogan last week. Nobody's clean. Nobody's 100% perfect. And I'm not saying that this is a 100% perfect issue either, but there's going to be things we don't like about a lot of things in our entertainment world. And if that's not for you, then that's okay too. We try and find the good in pro wrestling here. We're going to keep talking about just that. More to come, including your feedback to WWE's SummerSlam.
This is McGuire on Wrestling.
The alternate commentary table, ACT, brought to you by the Celebrate Wrestling podcast feed. Listen, it's Mitch, it's Dimitri. We got this little pod thing that we do every single week where we talk about the week in wrestling and the way in which we do it from the other side of the railing. Right, Mitch?
I like that.
We're coming at it because we love it. We hate it. The alternate commentary table, ACT. Download it anywhere where you're getting your podcasts.
Cheshire. Cody Rhodes looking to put John Cena away one more time in a final salute to the greatest of all time. Cody Rhodes with a crossroads to Cena. into the cover, hooks the leg. Cody Rhodes is champion.
Here is your winner, and new undisputed WWE champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Yay, boo, it's lots of fun to do. If you like it, holla yay. If you don't, you holla boo.
Welcome back to McGuire on Wrestling.
Well, this is the part of the show where after a major event, major happenings in pro wrestling, we like to turn the feedback over to you in a segment we call Yay Boo, named partially in part for the song which Conan O'Brien made famous, you heard there a few minutes ago. Also, to that series of moves, those punches we hear back and forth, yay, boo, and we heard a lot of that in a few matches over the weekend here. Let's get down to business, though. Your thoughts on WWE's SummerSlam. Now, again, the feedback is always welcome on the Celebrate Wrestling Facebook page. Now, I'm not a big rules guy, okay? That's one thing that I've tried to establish throughout the years, and I try and let the group moderate itself for the most part here. And for the most part, y'all do a great job of behaving yourselves. The rules are you have to give the overall show a yay or a boo, all right? Overall, based on everything. So even stuff you like, stuff you didn't. You're allowed to show your work. You're allowed to explain your reasoning, but we get your feedback as simple as we possibly can. So we start off with a guy who joined us a couple weeks ago on the show talking about his live experience from watching AEW's All In Texas. Devin Axman says, I guess a yay. I still want a serviceable option. Well, then go somewhere else, Devin. He says, I would do a yay for the main events. I thought both were great. Many other things were really fun, like the TLC, Women's Triple Threat. I loved the Jelly Roll match, and Logan Paul was incredible. However, both shows had long lulls and matches that weren't very good. I think this could have been a good one-night show. Brock coming back is upsetting some, but if you want morality, don't watch wrestling. Also, what is R-Truth doing? They brought him back just to shut up the fans, as I predicted. Ooh, I don't know. It's only been a couple weeks, and they didn't have plans for him, so they got to find something for him, but they will. They will. All right. Douglas Stanford Grandy says, Rollins cash-in wasn't a huge surprise, but we appreciate the effort of kayfabe that went into the so-called injury, don't we? Yeah, I think I do. I think I do a lot, actually. I've talked about it before on the show here. Guys like Sam Roberts have brought up a new kayfabe, right? Where, and I've said this before too, where guys, we're still being played, we're still being worked. It's still lying to us in a lot of ways because that's what pro wrestling is. It's an illusion. So we've got new tools they're using against us, and even shows like this, we're gonna do our best to get it right. But I've never said once that I'm a journalist. Hell, I got Dave Meltzer on here, who is a wrestling journalist, and sometimes he gets it wrong. So, I mean, it just happens. Nevertheless, I do appreciate them going that deep dive into selling that leg injury. Okay, Douglas also says Cody versus Cena was a pretty good match, and I'm fine with Cody regaining the title here. Most of the other matches were good. Too many participants in the TLC match, but still an okay match. What did they say? 16 people in a 12-person match? Yeah, however, I didn't really have any interest in it and didn't care which team won. Yeah, I talked about this, like I said with Dave there. I was on a gambling show out of Winnipeg this past week talking about the SummerSlam picks. And again, never go with my picks. Apparently, Mitch Honsius is on the booking team for WWE because he got SummerSlam Saturday 100% right. I haven't gone back and listened to see if he got Sunday 100% right too, but I know he got quite a few right on the Sunday match as well. Anyway, yeah, definitely just one of those things where, you know, it's one of those matches that you could toss away. You got that many people on it. It was cool to see that many people on the card, but it was a car crash. Absolutely. Okay, back to Douglas's comments here. The only match I really didn't care for was the Jelly Roll one. I know I shouldn't complain about a person's in-ring capability when he's not a wrestler to begin with, but I was just not getting with or gelling with Jelly. First ever 2-night SummerSlam is a yay. Well, there you go. Andy Evans, not following the rules here. He says, night 1 was a boo, bar the main event. Night 2, a yay overall. So it's a yay purely for the main events. Okay, he did follow the rule after all. He says, I'm intrigued to see how tonight goes with Lesnar. As good as Cody Cena was, Have to ask the question, was it overbooked like Mania X7? Countless finishers kicked out of. Doesn't make either man look strong, really. And I said this too a little bit earlier with Dave there. There was a ton of finishers in that match. Any other time, I would say you're absolutely right. Absolutely 100% right. I think this was Cena wanting to keep up with Cody, if that makes any sense. Because if you remember when Cody was in AEW especially, it was Spotty McSpots Fest. However, you can't say he left anything. We've been talking about how John Cena's matches felt a little lazy, a little phoned in as of late. And granted, that was heel John Cena. But we saw John Cena, again, mouth those words at the end. I gave you the best I got. That's all I had. That's everything. And I believe him. Short of a corkscrew dive or a moonsault, John Cena whipped out pretty much everything he had. I don't know if he can do either of those moves, by the way. I would die. I think I would literally die if John Cena just whipped out a moonsault out of nowhere. But anyway, he gave it a yay overall, so we're going to move on here. Chris Hodnott says overall a yay. Want to criticize it being over 2 nights, but would have been too long for just one. With the bar being set higher for regular shows, it's becoming difficult for PLEs to feel special. It's a roller coaster. Let's see where things go from here. Great point. Great point. We've talked about it on the show before. Between a lot of companies right now, we get a lot of really great wrestling or really great wrestling the way they do wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Like, too much is still too much. And when you're consistently having to do TV, you're consistently having to watch PLEs, if you are that dedicated to it, it can feel not as special. And that's why maybe taking a break again isn't the worst idea. Or maybe being one of those fans that only goes to PLEs and watches those. Or pay-per-views. Because these days, you get everything you want. And you can look up the story if you need to. So I think it was, overall, I think it was still above par. As far as most shows go, I think the main events definitely were main events and they delivered. But I don't know if we can ask them to tone it down either, because then people will just complain that weekly TV is boring. Which it is, to be honest. It's getting that way again. It's getting hard to... I'm glad to see people get opportunities and people get screen time, but it's just a big time suck here in a lot of ways. Mitch Honsius from the Alternate Commentary Table says, both yay, hit the feels in both and more matches hit than didn't. I'm not going to lie. I got a little emotional watching this show. I did. I was, and again, maybe it's just because I'm an older guy now, They say you start to feel your feelings more as you get older. That's where I was at. I know people just hate the guy, and that's fine. You can hate him. I don't know him well enough to like or hate him, but I enjoy watching CM Punk do what he does. And when he had that title, I've seen his movies. Dude is not that great of an actor. Like, he's great. He's fun. He's getting more movies than I am. Trust me. Although I did do a couple commercials recently. Thank you. But seriously, that was a true moment. And the fact that wrestling fans will begrudge these people for having their personal dreams come true, I think is kind of missing the point of wrestling, isn't it? That's what all this is. It's all make-believe fantasy warfare. Remember those segments in the old WWF magazines, Fantasy Warfare? Those were great. They'd take a legend from the past and a legend from the present and write up how the match would go. It was awesome. Awesome. I think that the Punk moment getting the belt, when Rollins came out, I popped too. And again, that's because I don't know these guys to care enough which one is the right guy in this situation or not. They did business, and they did great business. Seth doing I've heard a few people call it the Willy Wonka spot. I've never seen Willy Wonka, but I've seen it on Twitter now and Instagram. The original Gene Hackman Willy Wonka, where he ditches the cane and then comes out full force. That was awesome. And Seth looked good. Like, Seth was in shape. A little time off does a body good. And I had no problem with him cashing in and taking the time. Punk got what he wanted. He wanted to be a world champion again. It happened. It's in the books. It's done. And now he's got another red-hot feud going into Survivor Series or Clash in Paris or whatever's next with Seth Rollins, a match that we are not tired of seeing. Richard Brown, who was there, who sent us video of the crowd's reaction from his perspective to Brock Lesnar coming out. Thank you for that, Richard. Says, yay for both nights. Night 1 was a big yay. Night 2 was just a yay. Really? He says, I agree with Mitch Hansia's statement. Oh, they hit the feels and both more matches. And yeah, okay, gotcha. Let's see here. Bob Hunt, also known as Overanalytical Bob, says, a dynamically priced boo. This is what we're talking about, WWE SummerSlam here. Bob says, boo. The value of my time didn't justify spending time watching TV on one of the handful of weekends I can actually go outside without freezing or frying. Yes. This is, I feel you in this, Bob. He says, if SummerSlam were a mixtape, some songs on side B, the flip side, should have been on side A. Seth's cash in was a banger, but I would have preferred Blank Space to the hidden track at the very end. Okay. All right. I love his analogies, too. He always comes up with the most random analogies. Chris Holt from the UK. Hi, Chris. Says, overall, yay. Just about. Day 2 definitely had more going for it, albeit the Gunther versus Punk match was brutal. Brutal as in, like, they beat the hell out of each other, or brutal as in you didn't like it? I need some context there. He says, I expected a bit of blood from Cena. Thought we might get an old school JBL style match from him, but perhaps after Gunther, they'd run out of fake blood. At least we didn't get Travis Scott again. Yeah, but where the hell was Cardi B? She literally came out, the host was there for one spot. Did I miss something? I don't think I did. Chris goes on to say he's just a bit meh with Rollins. He's a Marmite kind of character, which I guess is the plan. Was surprised with the title remaining on Stratton. That was perhaps the only shock from a match result perspective. Jam Sandwich, as my wife named him. I get it, Jelly Roll. Put in a decent effort, but it stretched credibility at times. No kidding. Fair play to him for putting in the time and training. What takes this towards thumbs down is the decision to bring Lesnar back with the lawsuit ongoing. For what appears at times to be a progressive leadership, this is questionable. Okay, this is, and I understand, and I'm not negating your feelings here, but again, if you're looking for morality from pro wrestling, you're going to a bakery to get your car fixed. You know what I mean? It's just, we take the good, we take the bad. Do I like it? No. Do I agree with it? No. Did 60,000 people explode when it happened and left going, holy bleep? They did. They did, and you can't deny. I wasn't hearing one person groan, but what about the lawsuit? I don't know. He's in the thing, but he's not in the thing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Let's move forward. Blaine actually leaving. I like Blaine's preview columns when he posts them on the Celebrate Wrestling Facebook page. If you ever see Blaine post one of those, read it for sure. But he left us a nice, concise yay here. He says, I'm a yay, but it took a bit of convincing. I thought everything from the main event of night 1 up until the finish of night 2 was great. Everything that preceded night 1 main event was honestly just like a regular TV episode and not a Big 4 PLE. It most definitely did not need to be a 2-night event. I can see that too. But do you remember when back in the day WCW used to have like a bunch of matches on their show and everybody had a story? And some people like that, right? And I'm not saying that's right or wrong either, because I'm with you, man. I'm glad it makes the company money. I hope the wrestlers get more money out of it and everything, but 2 nights. And if they do more of these in this year, like I can't. We may have to split up the pay-per-view reviews moving forward. If you are interested in that, drop me a line, as a matter of fact. Joe Aguinaldo. Joe and I talked at length about this, actually. Well, not at length, but enough on text. He was going to be on the segment today, but it's Holiday Monday, and he's got stuff to do, so I ain't going to push. But he gave it a boo. He wasn't happy with it. And if you were checking out the discussion threads, there was a lot of people saying, this feels long. This feels really, really long. And they're not wrong, because it is. It's really, really long. Andy Lewis says, overall, yay for both. And Andy has been wrestling forever. Andy's life is pro wrestling. All right, Andy Anderson, the lone wolf. He's definitely seen it all. He's definitely done it all in a lot of ways. So for him to give it a yay for both nights, that's good. Alan Chambers from Edmonton says, boo, there was stuff I enjoyed, but a lot of stories got finished rather abruptly, and it doesn't make me eager to see where they go. It's a hard reset, right? Sometimes we get a hard reset. We got a wicked hard reset with John Cena. Friday, I'm a good guy again. Sunday, he proves it. Okay, that was pretty abrupt. But now we're all going, okay, what's going to happen with him and Lesnar? I guess we'll see. Tips McGee, our buddy Tips. How are you, pal? Yay for 6 p.m. starts. That's Eastern time. Yeah, it was 4 p.m. where I am, which was awesome. I went out and did things after the PLE. I'm all for this. I'm all for afternoon shows. I don't mind it. Randy Osga says, yay, great shows. Night 2 was better than night 1. I will never forget CM Punk's reaction to Seth's music. That was crazy. Yeah, I loved it. You could tell Punk gave everything he had in that match too, and he's a little gassed at the end, and then out comes Sethy Poo. It was great. As soon as it happened, and again, I like liking things, and I had a blast watching moments like that. Did I have a blast during everything? No. Zip ties. Finally, last one here as we're producing the episode. More feedback may be rolling in. Again, Celebrate Wrestling Facebook page. Feel free to leave yours there under Yay Boo for SummerSlam. Jake from the Windy City, Jake Allenar, says, overall, yeah, I preferred night 2 to night 1 by far. You remove the steel cage match and replace it with the main event in night 1, and this would have been a perfect one-night PLE event. You're not wrong. Could this have been a one-night event? Yeah. Maybe 4 hours? Sure. He says, you got only one bad match with the aforementioned one and an average match between AJ and Dom, mostly focused on being an Eddie tribute match. What was the aforementioned match? Oh, the steel cage match the bad one? Okay. Yeah, I guess that was the one he didn't like. I don't know. I thought Becky and Lyra went a little long, but again, I need to get on board with Lyra or get off, and I'm not on board. I'm sorry. Seems like a lovely person. I'm glad the wings are gone. Again, talk about someone that should have been sponsored by Wingstop. Lyra Valkyria right there. Of course, we were all saying stop with the wings, but yeah. Back to Jake's comments here. He says, everything else was good or great. You have a nice send-off for Cena as champion. So I guess finish his time with Brock Lesnar. You can have a great 3-way for the women's title and a great 6-tag team ladder match. Lyra and Becky also delivered another good match in their rivalry. It was okay. It was violent, sure, but I don't know if it was great. Punk versus Gunther was my match of the weekend. It felt like a classic Mid-South, Mid-Atlantic Crockett Promotions main event. It was brutal, real, and the gloves were off. I'd say a fine 8 out of 10 weekend. So that is a yay. That is a yay. There you go. Folks, with that, we are out of time for this week's show. But by no means does that mean we're out of time, period. Always love hearing from you on the Celebrate Wrestling Facebook page. You can also reach me directly at McGuire Show or at Celebrate Wrestling on Instagram. You can find me on X, although I barely ever use it, at McGuire Show. And, of course, the whole crew, you can reach us through CelebrateWrestling.com. We'll talk more about a lot of things. But thank you for your reaction to WWE SummerSlam 2025. Next week, we're jumping back into talking about everything. G1 will be that much closer to wrapping up. AEW's got some exciting things in the can. Oh, big match this week. I'm really looking forward to this one. MJF and Mark Briscoe. Man, that's going to be something. I like this new Mark Briscoe, too. He's getting it done. One more thing before I let you go here. Later on this week on the feed, Andy Evans from Legends and Champions got to chat with TNA X Division champion Leon Slater. Had a big win at Slammiversary. Got a huge rub from AJ Styles and more. That interview will be coming up for you on the pod feed later on this week, as well as his recap of SummerSlam 89. We've got the alternate commentary coming back and a bunch more. Back to Sunday next week. Until then, as always, thank you for listening and letting me do what I do. Play safe, drive safe. Be seen ya.
McGuire on Wrestling. Online and on the radio. Listen to the show Mondays at 4 p.m. Mountain Time at CKXU.com, wherever you get your podcasts, and at McGuireShow.com.